Hi, Zion Lutheran and friends. Here we are with our another hymn sing. It is Christmas in July. We hope you enjoy it. We're excited to be here and sing a baker's dozen of songs for you today. So we have 13 hymns, the first being the First Noel. Now the term Noel is a French word meaning Christmas and is derived from the Latin word nautilus, meaning birthday. The songs sung during the Christmas season were known as Noels, these names being equivalent to carols in English. In some hymnals, the editors noted that a hymnal author is unknown to them, that the hymn's author is unknown to them, and so this artificial person entry is used to reflect that fact. Obviously, the hymns attributed to author unknown, or anonymous could have been written by many people over a long span of many centuries. So we'll sing the First Noel. Well, I had a little bit of a rough start there with the PowerPoint. I got into singing, and I forgot to turn the screen, so sorry, I'll be better. Our second song, as you can see, O Little Town of Bethlehem, Lutheran Service Book, 361. Phillips Brooks wrote the tune. He was born in Boston in 1835. He graduated at Harvard College in 1855. He was ordained into the ministry in 1859. Successfully rector of the Church of the Advent in Philadelphia and Trinity Church in Boston. He became the Bishop of Massachusetts in 1891 and died at Boston in January 1893. His carol, O Little Town of Bethlehem, was written for his Sunday school class in 1868, the author having spent Christmas of 1866 in Bethlehem. We'll sing together, O Little Town of Bethlehem.
Yeah.
You know, Jeanette, have you ever had one of those days, where you feel like a brown pair of shoes with a black tuxedo?
Yes.
I'm having one of those.
That's okay. We all have them.
Our next hymn is It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. Lutheran Service Book, page 366. Edmund Hamilton Sears was born in Berkshire, Massachusetts in 1810. He graduated at Union College in 1834 and the Theological School of Harvard University in 1837. He became pastor of the Unitarian Society in Wayland, Massachusetts in 1838. On account of ill health, he was obliged to retire from active duties of the ministry in 1847. Residing in Wayland, he devoted himself to literature. He has published this hymn in 1849. He died at Weston, January 14th, 1876. It came upon a midnight clear. We Three Kings, as you can see, is the next hymn we're going to sing together. John Henry Hopkins Jr. wrote the hymn. He was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1820. He was the eldest son of pioneer parents. Although little known in the hymnody of other churches except for this carol, We Three Kings of Orient are, Hopkins was one of the great leaders in the development of hymnody in the Episcopal Church during the mid-19th century. He died at a friend's home near Hudson, New York on August 17th, 1891. O come all ye faithful. Lutheran Service Book 379. John Francis Wade, born in England in 1711, died in France, 1786. The earliest manuscript signed by Wade is dated about 1743. A Roman Catholic, Wade apparently moved to France because of discrimination against Roman Catholics in 18th century England, especially so after the Jacobite Rebellion of 1745. He taught music at an English college in France and had copied and sold chant music for use in the chapels of wealthy families. Wade's copied manuscripts were published in 1751. Silent Night is the next hymn we'd like to sing with you, found on your Lutheran Service Book 363. Joseph Moor wrote the hymn. He was born in 1792, died in 1848. He was born into a humble family. His mother was a seamstress and his father an army musketeer. A choir boy in Salzburg Cathedral as a youth, Moore studied at Salzburg University. He was ordained in the Roman Catholic Church in 1815. Moore was a priest in various churches near Salzburg, including St. Nicholas Church. He spent his later years in Hintersee and Wagram. We'll sing together Silent Night. Don't you just want to have a little candle?
Yes, I do.
With a little wax catcher on the bottom? So people can spill it all over the pews. Well, our next song is in the Bleak Midwinter. Christina Georgina Rossetti, born in 1830, she died in 1894, was an English poet who wrote various romantic, devotional, and children's poems. Goblin Market and Remember remain famous. She wrote the words of two Christmas carols well known in the UK, In the Bleak Midwinter and Love Came Down at Christmas. We'll sing together. Away in a Manger, 364 in your Lutheran service book. I couldn't find much information on Away in a Manger, believe it or not. It's attributed to Martin Luther. And does the hymnal say anything as well?
Setting by Joseph Herald.
Okay.
Tuned by James Murray.
Tuned by James Murray.
Yes.
The other things I found is that the authorship of the verses are unknown, and I'm wondering if Martin Luther put it together. So, we'll sing Away in a Manger. It's one of my favorites. Sounded like someone tried to get into the sanctuary door, kind of threw us off a little bit. You gonna go check it out? Okay. Well, we have with us Maxine playing the piano and putting together the PowerPoints and collecting the songs. Thank you, Maxine. Parish nurse Rachel. Yeah, Rachel's here singing as well. That's why I'm not, because I can't talk. Jeanette's here as well, singing. She just went back and checked the sanctuary door. Maybe it's the wind or the storm out there. And we have John Farden here as well. Thank you, John, for coming and singing again. We appreciate it. And, of course, I'm Pastor Greg, and I'm trying to read my notes here. So, God Rest Ye Gentlemen is an English traditional Christmas carol. The earliest known printed edition of the carol is in a broadsheet dated 1760. The carol is referred to in Charles Dickens' 1843, A Christmas Carol. At the first sound of God Bless You, Merry Gentlemen, may nothing you dismay, Scrooge seized the ruler with such energy of action that the singer fled in terror, leaving the keyhole to the fog and even more congenial frost. We'll sing together, God Rest Ye Gentlemen.
When we were gone astray, oh, time.
O holy night, placid. How do you say that last name?
I have no idea. He's French.
Very French. Placid Capou. Born in 1808, he was a French poet and an author of the well-known poem Menu Crétins, O Holy Night, in 1847, which was set to music by Adolphe Adam. According to Placid, he wrote the poem Menu Crétins, Holy Night, in a stagecoach to Paris. He did die in August of 1877 at the age of 69. He seemed to be very young. Of course, in 1800s, that might have been old. I don't know. But we'll sing O Holy Night. Go Tell It on the Mountain is our next hymn we're going to sing with you, found on your Lutheran Service Book, page 388. It's written by John W. Work, Jr. He's well known for his pioneering studies of African American folk music and for his leadership in the performance of spirituals. He studied music at Fisk University in Nashville and classics at Harvard, and then taught Latin, Greek, and history at Fisk University from 1898 to 1923. Director of the Jubilee Singers at Fisk, Work also sang tenor in the Fisk Jubilee Quartet, which toured the country after 1909 and made a commercial recording. He was president of Roger Williams University in Nashville during the last 2 years of his life. Work and his brother Frederick Work were devoted to collecting, arranging, and publishing African American slave songs and spirituals. They published 2 collections, New Jubilee Songs as sung by the Fisk Jubilee Singers, published in 1901, and Folk Songs of the American Negro, published in 1907. Go Tell It on the Mountain. Hark the Herald Angels Sing, 380 in your Lutheran Service Book, written by Charles Wesley. He was born in Epworth in 1707. He was educated at Westminster School and afterwards at Christ Church, Oxford, where he graduated with his M.A. degree. In 1735, he took orders and immediately proceeded with his brother John to Georgia, both being employed as missionaries of the SPG. He returned to England in 1736, and for many years he engaged with his brother in preaching the gospel. He died March 29th, 1788. Charles Wesley's prominence in hymn writing may be judged from the fact that in the Wesleyan hymn book, 623 of the 770 hymns were written by him, and he published more than 30 poetical books written either by himself alone or in conjunction with his brother. The number of his separate hymns is at least 5,000. Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Mercy.
what the next one is?
Yes. Joy of the world.
Do you know which song it is in the list?
It's number 13.
It is the last song,
It's
number
the last
13. It was really fast today. Are we going to do another hymn sing?
Not next week.
Not next week. Possibly the week after. Possibly.
We need some more songs.
You need to continue to submit some songs, please.
I have more Christmas ones.
We could have a mishmash. Well, Joy to the World, Lutheran Service Book 387, written by Isaac Watts. We've heard him several times through our hymn sings together. He was born in Southampton in 1674. He is said to have shown remarkable abilities in childhood, beginning the study of Latin in his 4th year, writing respectable verses at the age of 7. The number of Watts' publications is very large. His collected works, first published in 1720, embrace sermons, treatises, poems, and hymns. His hymns appeared in July 1707. The first hymn he is said to have composed for religious worship is "Behold the Glories of the Lamb," written at the age of 20. It is as a writer of psalms and hymns that he is everywhere known. Some of his hymns were written to be sung after his sermons, giving expression to the meaning of the text upon which he had preached. Joy to the World was written in 1719. His published hymns numbered more than 800, and Watts died November 25th, 1748. Well, there's no wonder of our love for all of you. Thanks for singing along with us. Submit your songs, and hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll come together for another hymn sing. God bless. See y'all later. Bye.
Merry Christmas!